Coming right up, Straight Talk with Art Levine. Our guest tonight, Long Beach Chief of Police Jim McDonnell, as we continue our 21st anniversary year.
Closed captioning provided by Scan Health Plan. Straight Talk is brought to you in part by Southern California Edison. For over 100 years, life powered by Edison. The Press Telegram, your local news leader for over 100 years.
Join us for tonight's edition of Straight Talk. And now your host, Art Levine.
Good evening and welcome to Straight Talk. We have a great show for you tonight. Our guest for the entire show is our Chief of Police, Jim McDonnell, City of Long Beach. Chief, welcome back to Straight Talk.
Thank you, Art.
Give us an update on crime statistics for the first few months of this year.
Okay, yeah, we finished up, as we've talked about before, 2012 with some incredible numbers, the lowest violent crime rate in 40 years. So we're looking at the numbers very critically this year. We've seen an uptick in some of our crime, particularly some of our more serious violent crime. I think the thing to put it in context, though, it's an uptick from a 40-year low. We're looking at that very closely. We're looking at locations around the city where we're having repeat offenses. We're looking at what the patterns are, the gang involvement, and we're putting together a strategic plan and working that plan now. So we're hopeful that we'll be able to have some good results down the line on that.
I know overall the statistics were down 1.8% for the first 3 months of the year, but as you mentioned, murder was up quite significantly.
Right.
And also in residential burglary,
Right.
significant increase.
Right.
On your prior appearance on our show, you kind of predicted a forthcoming perfect storm with what we call the 3 R's, realignment, the recession, and the reduction in police staffing levels.
Right, right.
And that's come to pass.
Yeah, unfortunately, and the realignment piece has been a significant one, you know, that's something we continue to work with. We're working collaboratively with other chiefs around the county, other police departments around the county, the Sheriff's Department, the LAPD, and dealing with this on a regional perspective, as well as working with probation. And we've got probation officers embedded with several departments, 25 departments around the county, in an effort to be able to do compliance checks and to be as effective as we can.
It was surprising to me to read in the paper recently about some of the folks that were being let out on probation as opposed to being incarcerated at the county level. I thought it was only the non-serious, non-sex offenders that would be eligible for probation, but there are a couple of pretty bad sorts that were walking the streets now.
Yeah, what the 3 nons, as they call them, the
Not nuns, but nons.
Nons, yeah. Non-violent, non-serious, and non-sex. Those are defined by the state. What happens when people are arrested for those types of crimes, they go to county jail for their sentence, not to state prison. And the idea behind that is to try and reduce the number of inmates in the state prison system. The realignment has shifted the burden for that responsibility from the state to the counties. So it's a tremendous burden that we didn't have 2 years ago that we now have to figure out a way to make it work as well as we can.
But some of the releasees from the state prison under realignment committed serious offenses and violent offenses.
Right.
But they weren't kept in county jail, they were put out on probation.
Yeah, the 2-year period up to this point has been kind of trying to figure out how to make this work as well as we can. The probation department was given the additional duty that used to be the responsibility of state parole. They've now taken on a lot of that. So they had to ramp up. Jerry Powers, who's the director over there, has had his hands full in trying to ramp up, hire additional probation officers, arm some of those probation officers to be able to deal with what they're facing, and to be able to work as closely as he can with the police departments throughout the county.
I understand that the sheriff of each county has a lot of discretion. There aren't many guidelines as to who gets released and who gets sent to county jail.
Yeah, it's a triage system in every county in the state, and the sheriffs have to do the best they can with what they have to work with. And every day they're triaging their problem to try and be as judicious as they can with who they release. There is nowhere in the county, or I'm sorry, nowhere in the state like Los Angeles County for the capacity issues that we face here and just the sheer volume.
I know that you've said publicly and including on this show that fighting crime is not just the responsibility of the police department,
Right.
but it's a whole community. And later in the show, we'll talk about the Police Foundation. But I know that your department has issued some tips on trying to control and prevent residential burglary. And they include such common sense things as locking doors and windows, reporting loitering, keeping the shrubbery trimmed, having the number of the house visible, garage doors closed and locked, and even consider motion and sensor detector lighting and surveillance cameras, and of course, joining a neighborhood watch.
Right, right. Now, all very good things. A lot of it just comes down, don't be complacent. Don't feel that it's going to happen to someone else and not you. Take a look at your own property and think to yourself, if I was an opportunist looking to be able to steal something, where is my house vulnerable? And oftentimes it comes down to lighting, it comes down to what's visible from the street. If someone were to look, somebody walking down the street who is an opportunist, if your house is a hard target, they'll go to the next house. And then hopefully we can deal with the next house and the next house. So block by block, we make the whole city a very hard target for somebody who is an opportunist.
And also with automobiles, don't leave your door unlocked for starters.
Right.
And don't leave as visible on the seats valuable stuff like phones and TVs.
Right. Take the couple of seconds it takes to take an assessment of your own vehicle, take anything that looks valuable out, put it in the trunk, or take it with you, and then look back into your vehicle and see, is there anything there that an opportunist would come along and be attracted to?
So help the police do their job in keeping crime in check by making these common sense adjustments in your behavior. We'll be back with more of our show after these messages.
Supported by Edison International. Californians are getting to be old hands at year-round energy conservation, part of our special awareness of the resources we all depend on. We're making the change to energy-efficient light bulbs, keeping warm weather thermostats set to a comfortable 78 degrees, and giving major appliances the afternoon off. Because when it comes to energy conservation, it all adds up. Life, powered by Edison.
In today's world, everything's connected. From the workplaces that support us, to the homes that welcome us, to the trees and wildlife habitats that remind us how important our environment is. When a bird lands on a branch, and in the midst of a busy day, we stop to watch, it makes us realize we're all in the same boat. The Port of Long Beach welcomes this world with open arms, an environmental policy that's second to none, and a commitment to shaping a vibrant community. The Port of Long Beach, thinking outside the docks.
Hello, I'm Jessica Hardy, a proud Long Beach native and a member of the USA Swimming national team. Having spent much of my life in water, I've developed a deep appreciation for the valuable role that this precious resource plays in our lives. In recent years, California's water supply has become unreliable. To address this reality, Long Beach residents have dramatically reduced their water use through permanent lifestyle changes. In doing so, Long Beach has made itself a leader in water conservation. As I work hard to achieve my personal goal of qualifying for the 2012 Summer Olympics, I encourage you to continue your tremendous efforts to use water in smart and responsible ways. So join me and your fellow Long Beach residents in strengthening the water conservation movement. By making small but significant changes in our water use habits, together we can ensure that we have a reliable water supply for many generations to come.